I was, I think, 3 years old when I first went on the computer. I was 5 when I got my Game Boy. I used to play that like every day. It was just so fun. And so I equally used my Game Boy and my computer. So I like had an hour to play each. So that I would do basketball during the time that I wasn't doing technology. And then during the time that I wasn't doing anything, I just lay down and chill. Zoe! At 7 years old, that's when I really started drawing a lot. I like it, it's fun, and then after people compliment on my drawings, so I think that's kind of fun. And then at 10 years old, when I went to 5th grade, I made my first comic book. And after that, I went into 6th grade, and that's when I got my laptop, and then I started using that more often. I joined the DYN program.
If you know your account, pull it up on your laptop.
The Digital Youth Network was really trying to look to see how now the students are really inundated with all this new technology. How does that impact how kids socialize, and then how does that in turn really impact how they learn as well?
There's a project called Editing Project 1. Everybody got it?
The kid can come in and they can do digital music production, graphic design and animation, game design, or digital video production.
Why did they go slow motion? Why would they go in slow motion though?
Kids on their own are jumping across from all these different mediums, so we really need to kind of explore all of them as well and try to support kids to become better producers and consumers and critiquers within all these different pieces.
So Remix World is kind of like MySpace, kind of like Facebook, mixed with a little bit of YouTube as well. So you can go on there, you can post your own videos that y'all make, you can post the music that you're making. I saw you are remixing the song online already.
Remix World is a contained social networking site that's only open to our students and our mentors.
So the rest of the kids in the school can actually see what you guys are doing. And you can also go in and you can comment and critique on what everybody else has done.
So the idea is that students for us are already spending all of their time on all these different social networking communities around the web. Why can't we reappropriate those kind of tools and in this more formal educational context?
I post up videos, poems, and just whatever I thought was like, that my opinion was, it was cool. I would post up on the Remix World to see what other people thought. Sometimes on YouTube I get worse feedback than the Remix World. Well, I'm okay with that though, because I know there's a lot of people on YouTube are better than me at what I do, because they've been doing it longer and they know how to do it better. I accept that, and after I try harder to make mine just as good as theirs. That's one of the shoes that I've created. First, I just took a layout of a normal Nike Dunk. It was just plain white, and after I add in colors and different like images. When I created this shoe, I was thinking of Halloween, so I put in some 3D pumpkins almost all across the front of the shoe.
Have your seat, do your thing. I will sit back and get out of your way. You know, Jalen has always been creative, always. And he did that. And his mind kind of thinks a little different. It's very open. And to see him fall into something that can connect with where his mind goes sometimes, and to be able to have him do something tangible, it's amazing to see that.
Division 201 was a movie that we made in the summer. I enjoyed it. I was a graphic artist. So technically what I did was I created all the like posters. I decided to use fingerprints because that's like your identity. And after I put them in different colors for different races like that.
You can sit wherever you'd like.
The movie was technically about a class which was in room 201 and how races were segregated, and after that they discussed about racism. At the top it says what divides us, so they're all divided apart. And after that on the bottom it says what unites us, and they're all in one circle.
It feeds into his academics. He's reading, he's learning, and he's figuring out how to incorporate all of the technology into that. And I think it's teaching him different ways to think about things and to figure out problems. So I see him becoming even a better student as a result.
Sometimes we have assignments, like book reports and stuff, so what I usually like to do for my book report is make a comic where I have like little squares where I could put like some pictures in there, and I have the speech bubble coming out and it says, "Hi, this is a book report from Jalen Jackson," yada yada yada, all that stuff that you need in the book report. And sometimes we have to do PowerPoints, sometimes we do games, all that stuff.
Jalen has been in video games for a couple of years now. So last year they were using a tool called Scratch.
Scratch is a program where You kind of make your own characters, and after that you edit their actions so that they could probably like run maybe or anything.
So then all you got to do is tell the program that when I press left or something, that I want it to do the walking animation.
Yeah, you have to put it into my game.
Jalen is typical in the sense that I think he embraces exploration, but I think he's a little bit more unique in the sense that he takes it a step further on his own very often. So he decides that he likes anime, but now on his own, he decided he was going to learn how to create, the anime music videos.
What I did was cut up different clips, and I pick a really good song that I think will go good with the clips, and after I just put it all together.
He's really into this, and he's sitting there literally creating a video, a music video. First 4 or 5 hours, he have a 3-minute video together. 6 months later, 4 or 5 hours, he'd have 4 or 5 full videos together. So he was like, wow, and he's very, very, very passionate about it. Yeah, what's television class gonna be like, JJ?
I think we're recording this week.
I need some sort of outline of what you guys are gonna do on your show.
They want us to be able to make a movie using all those skills of writing. They wanted to have a good storyline.
All right, so presidential election.
They wanted to have a certain amount of vocabulary that would be appropriate for a 7th grade level. And they wanted to be at least something that would be interesting to watch. Right now I'm editing the clips shorter so that it kind of looks more like a movie and not just pictures just floating out of the air. Trying to see how that works out first. Go faster as ever. This stuff go faster as ever, look.
Jalen's a silly 12-year-old.
And he's proud of being silly.
Shut up, get my game.
And he likes being
being silly.
He works with us on our show too.
No, he doesn't, y'all.
No, he does.
And he always has an idea, always has an answer. If I say, Jay, can you not do that? It's always a good reason for why it should be done. So, he's a typical 12-year-old.
It's been 30 minutes. So now I am eligible to play video games. Well, what I want to do when I grow up is I want to be a cartoonist and a video game maker and an artist. But technically, they all come together, though. So I think that all of this graphic design, gaming, all of this stuff that I do will contribute to my cartooning and gaming one day. All this technology programs that I do.
For more information on what works in public education, go to edutopia.org.